Buenos dias, señoras and señoritas. Well, perhaps buenos noches. So, hi everyone. Здравствуйте. I'm really glad to see all of you here who joined, and I see some familiar names for me. Hi, Daniel. I heard somewhere about Alexander Молчанов. Здравствуйте. Thomas, Richard, Peter. Hi, everyone. So, welcome to our tap room that is open every Thursday. It's the only tap room where you're welcome to make a bubble through a straw, to keep your phone on loud, to throw peanuts into your neighbors, and actually do whatever you want, and do whatever you want to do. And today, the topic of our tap room is the VMware and StarWind virtual SAN, from 2 to infinity and beyond. And before we'll start, I'd like to make a quick check of the system to make sure that everything runs properly and smoothly from my side, so please drop me a quick message in the GoToMeeting chat box or a questionnaire box if the video and audio are actually okay. I would really highly appreciate it. I'm already getting the feedback. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Duke. So looks like we are all set right here, and we are ready in a good shape to proceed. So, oh, that's not what I wanted. So just a quick introduction of myself before we will before the quick introduction of what is happening actually right now. This is a tap room. This is something that StarWind initiated. We actually prefer to do not call it webinar series or something like. We are considering it like some kind of virtual bar where you can actually ask anything you want in the way that you want. So, consider me as a friend right now that you know for like century, and you know what trousers I'm wearing right now. Just keep relaxed. Make yourself comfortable in your chairs right now. Grab a beer. I insist, grab a beer. And let's continue. And that tap room is on Thursdays. And a quick introduction for my new friends. My name is Anatoly. You guys can call me Tony. I've been in IT for 7 years, and 6 of them I have dedicated to StarWind, and right now I'm leading the support department worldwide. I'm a gamer. I actually prefer playing first-person shooters, and while I'm playing the Team Fortress or Call of Duty or Battlefield or whatever, I prefer drinking scotch and Cointreau. Becherka is on the table as well. Okay, and a quick agenda of today's session. So it will be kind of short because we will not have some demonstration today, because there is actually a lot to discuss verbally about the topic. We will have StarWind on top of VMware tester together topic on aperitif. At the bitter, we will discuss what exclusions from the rules the VMware has. Mostly I will concentrate on the VMware statements about the best practices, etc. And that part is actually I was inspired to create this part by my friend John Toigo. We will have the webinar next week with him. By the way, we'll have that's going to be a great topic and a great webinar. It will be really interesting, and I will give you the link to register to the webinar at the end of this slide. And before we'll proceed, Brent, thank you very much for your comments about the photoshopping of myself, I guess. Okay, and yeah, before we will start again, I want to ensure everybody that the happening is recording, and we will upload it within 12 hours after the end of this tap room. And also, don't hesitate to ask your questions. I mean, if you have some question right now, just fire it away. I'm constantly checking your questions, question or chat box. I would prefer to answer everything before on the section A before we will proceed to section B, so everybody could understand everything in any time. So yeah, it looks like we are all set. So let's start. First of all, I want to say that I'm not comparing StarWind and VMware offering. I don't want to say that something is good, something is bad because or due to any reason. VMware is virtualization guys. VMware are doing really great hypervisors, right? They are really great at desktop virtualizations. They are like gods of the server virtualizations, but the VSAN is something that is actually not the main product, and that's my point. When if Mercedes would start making t-shirts, that would be something. The t-shirts would be not that good quality comparing to, I don't know, Louis Vuitton or Gucci or Prada. You get my point, I guess. And StarWind, we are here, are actually doing the shared storage solution for almost a decade. So that should mean something for everybody. So let's consider this as short introduction. Let me check if any questions here. No, we don't have any questions. Okay, so let's proceed. So what actually VMware offers? Well, first of all, as you can see on your slide, is a VSAN. Let's start from this part. So VSAN is the thing that actually creates the shared storage, and that thing is really good when talking about the big deployments or really small deployments. Well, depending on actually needs of the end user of the hypervisor. The main okay, I'll say negative aspects, but that's just specific of how it works. So the main negative aspects, the main specifics, are the fact that it requires to have the flash storage, it requires to have the switching, it requires to be licensed on every hypervisor that your system runs. And I will actually, once again, that's not bad. That's just how it works, right? So comparing to StarWind, that's actually, that thing have a bigger minimal footprint, let's call it that way. And actually, I will dive deeper into this comparison topic on the next slide. So before, let's talk about what else VMware offers when talking about the shared storage or absence of need in such. So it's VSA, which is discontinued. A lot of people actually liked it, but that thing actually should be licensed everywhere again, and the reliability. I saw actually a lot of topics where people were complaining about the speed and the reliability of the VSA. So let's just keep in mind that that is a history, and that's a good experience for VMware to, the good starting point to start developing the virtual SAN, the reliable and fast virtual SAN. My favorite actually thing that VMware does is the true fault tolerance, where everything that your virtual machine has is replicated everywhere. I mean, that's like a perfect, right? So you have 10 hosts, each one has a replica of everything. That's like godlike fault tolerance. That's like godlike availability of the whole entire system. But you should have the godlike budget for this thing, because if you have 100 VMs, that eats up like 200 CPUs, let's say, just rough example, 100 CPU on one server and 100 gigs of RAM on the same server and the 100 terabytes on the same server, you should have that amount of the compute and storage resources on each server in your system. Well, that's like a lot, like really a lot. So okay, so let's just compare StarWind with VMware, as I actually promised. Unlike VMware Virtual SAN, StarWind has minimalistic hardware footprint. It starts with only 2 nodes, and 2 actually means 2, not like 2 and some witness node or some additionally somewhere nearby that is small but you still need to have it, or somewhere or whatever, and like other VSA guys do. And it can scale out to infinity. Da-da-da. Also, gigabit Ethernet. StarWind is fully compatible and will take care of 10 gigabit Ethernet or 40 gigabit Ethernet or data links. If there will be 60 or 100, we'll take care of it as well. And of course, the trick here is that VMware VSAN is actually has a requirement in having such switching, and the trick here is the word switching. Not that data links are okay. I mean, a lot of people here can afford 10 gig switching, 10 gig Ethernet NICs and links, but the switches is become the problem for the budget here. So StarWind doesn't require that. It can be connected through the back-to-back connection with the crossover cable, which is cool. So we're talking about the switchless point-to-point configuration, which is fully supported and approved by production. Also, the flash is optional. Well, it can be used for the write-back cache or write-through cache, or as a tier in all flash configs if installed. But no flash means no big deal, no problem at all. Again, unlike VSAN from VMware. The big concern, and the thing is totally not obvious and not straightforward, is flexed out VMware vSphere, let's call it VMware vSphere friendly licensing. So StarWind user gets uses only the storage that is actually consumed. So StarWind is okay. Let's talk about money here, right? And let's call everything properly. So StarWind customer pays for actual consumed storage by the number of nodes or by used terabytes. He decides on his own. In friendly dependently from amount of hypervisor hosts in a cluster. It's perfectly okay to have StarWind Virtual SAN installed on just few nodes in a much bigger cluster, and that is exactly what you see on your website. What's wrong with me today? So on your slides right now that are on your screens, so we've got 2 nodes that are running StarWind, while all other ones are running without StarWind and just hosting all the VMs on the StarWind. It's totally okay to have StarWind Virtual SAN installed on just a few nodes in a much bigger cluster, and there is absolutely no need to enable it and pay license fees for all of the nodes. While the VMware Virtual SAN will currently ask you to pay for all nodes in a cluster, and StarWind Virtual SAN does best breed of a scale-out and scale-up approaches combined in a single cluster. For example, 5-node vSphere cluster can have VM storage on just 2 nodes, and 8 hypervisor nodes can run VMs from 3 node cluster, and so on. Okay, I'm finished with that section, so let's stick with the question. Okay, Brent, I saw your question, but I think it better fits the QA section part. Okay, we'll have it in 2 slides as far as I remember, or maybe in 1. Okay, so let's proceed. And again, money. To note, VMware vSphere setup is free of charge. So what we mean right here is that StarWind has a time-limited offer for every VMware user, so he can claim the free to node license with unlimited capacity, and that license is going to be perpetual, and that license actually allowed to be used in production environment. Technically, you can run your whole data center from just a pair of StarWind virtual SAN nodes for free, and as long as you don't run out of capacity and IOPS and network bandwidth, of course. So the trick here is that if you have enough of resources to scale up the servers with the VMware, you can stick with the free license. Obviously, if you want to scale out, that's part where you will talk with one of our sales. In general, licensing is more friendlier. With the basic fee, you can typically pay $2,500 per new StarWind virtual license node, and we don't care about number of CPU sockets. VMware Virtual SAN is $2,500 per CPU socket. The last part here, is, well, we call it a complete all-in-wonder. Industry standard storage protocols exposed iSCSI SMB3 and NFSV version 4, inline replication, asynchronous replication, RAM and flash write-back caches, log structure, etc. There is no point to spawn a fault-tolerant iSCSI target or set of failover NFS or SMB servers VMs on top of StarWind, just because customer needs a backup target disk, place to store VDI properties, or he needs to have a company file server. StarWind Virtual SAN does, iSCSI, it does NFS, it does SMB out of the box. Shared storage can be exposed outside the cluster to others consumers, including, let's call them alien hypervisors like Hyper-V, ZAN, KVM, and there is no need to deploy any flash and RAM caching software, as StarWind Virtual SAN comes with own caching engine. And once again, we support the level 1 caching, so as the level 2 caching, which is great, which is cool, which is perfect. And inline replication of StarWind combined with a log structured file system takes a perfect care of a performance targeted all flash and capacity oriented parity rate configurations. And what I would like to mention right here as well is that again, this thing was just been told, but just let's make a quick summary of the thing. So comparing to VMware with SAN, StarWind has a friendlier licensing since it shouldn't be licensed everywhere. StarWind vSAN doesn't require having additional hardware when talking about flash or switching, and StarWind doesn't have. StarWind is all-in-one solution, so it gives everything that is required to achieve the business continuity. So if you want to have what business continuity actually means? Business continuity is a thing that consists of from 3 parts. First one, snapshots. the thing that the backup of your data, the thing that you are using to recover the data in case of need. I pray so nobody had such needs, but high availability, or better say fault tolerance, is the thing that protects you from unplanned or maybe planned hardware or software maintenance, or some hardware or software failure on the some part of the system. Let's say 50%. In case of 3-node scenario of StarWind, that can be 66% actually, and 6 and 6 and 6. And the last one is the asynchronous replication, which protects you from the major disaster on the primary side. And scale out actually supports any type of the increase in muscles of your system. So if you want to scale your system up, like VMware, if you want to boost up your system by scaling it out, who stops you? Nobody. So which is cool. And well, the only thing that actually concerned me a little bit is that VMware has the thing called hardware compatibility list, and the product requires to be within that hardware compatibility list in order to get in order so user that is using the software hardware could get the support from VMware. So StarWind is fully certified with the VMware, and you can double check it within the VMware HCL. And by the way, the good question that I have right now is that if actually VMware VSAN passed all the certification tests. Well, I mean, I haven't checked that. Have you? Okay, so we are actually done with this part, and that was actually the major part of the topic that I'd like to discuss today. And it's time for your questions, gentlemen. Just fire them all away. Okay, so question from Brent: how do you handle split brain concerns with 2 nodes? Easily. So when talking about the 2 nodes configuration, what exactly is a split brain is when talking about the StarWind setup, StarWind product. StarWind has this synchronization channel, and that is the main channel used by StarWind servers to identify the health status of the StarWind nodes. So if that would be the only such channel and it would go down, then every node in that 2-node setup would consider itself as the only one that stayed alive and survived some kind of failure, and it would receive to get the data from the client, and as a result all the data would get corrupted. That's why StarWind developed the heartbeat channel. That's a really low resource consuming process. Generally speaking, basically speaking, that is actually the part of the synchronization channel functionality. So what this thing does in the event of the failure of the synchronization channel, the heartbeat kicks in and it identifies if the servers are okay, or maybe the whole, if both servers are okay and the sync channel is down. That means that there is something wrong with the sync channel, not some kind of partner node. So it shuts down one of the servers while the other one stays up and running and proceeds running all the client's requests. And as a result, no split brain. So I hope that answers the question. Okay, question from Chuck. Is it possible to do 3-node running crossover cables using dual NIC cards? Yeah, that scenario is fully supported. Moreover, I'm recommending you to stick with this one instead of running everything through the switch. But once again, if you are actually feeling more comfortable with running everything through the switch, be my guest. I will personally configure everything for you if you want. I mean. Okay, so thanks for a question, Chuck. Let's move on to question from Patrick. What is your licensing model based on? Great question. Generally speaking, we have like 3 main licenses, let's call them that way, which are standard, which are like enterprise as far as I remember, and the data center. And those one are the licensing right now based on the capacity. So you should be you should think if you are actually, well, long story short, it's capacity and support. So first of all, do you want the support option? I mean direct support option. If no, I mean 2-node license and feel free to run it everywhere. By the way, the thing, we've got the 2-node license for free, not only for the VMware users, but for Hyper-V guys as well. So no problem with that. If you want to have a support, you need to consider one of the perpetual licenses, which comes not for free. Then after, you need to specify the capacity of the StarWind storage that will be used. As far as I remember, the breakpoint is 4 terabytes. So you should identify, are you below the 4 terabytes or you have 4 TBs or more. And then after, you must know what the number of nodes of StarWind do you want to run in your system. Obviously, more nodes means more cache for major part of the license. And the last thing that you want to know is, do you require asynchronous replication or virtual tape library? Well, making long story short, that's it. And by the way, if you want to learn more about the StarWind licensing, just drop me a quick email after the end of this session, and I will really gladly provide you with such documentation. Or no, I'm not thinking. Yeah, let's say I'll do my best for you to get the price that you want. Cool. I thought so. Any else questions, gentlemen? SPLA. Arjan is asking, do we have the SPLA licensing options? Great question. Let me Google what the thing is. SPLA licensing. Service provider to license agreement. Oh, this one. Probably I need to learn wiki. Oh. Well, I mean, maybe we do, maybe we don't. I'm not sure about it. Is that a social? Okay, so service provider license agreement is a type of software license agreement offered by vendors such as Microsoft, which allows hosted service providers to pay for the underlying software according to how much it's used and for how long. So it's some kind of leasing, isn't it? Well, if so, then I'm pretty sure that we used to have such one. If I'm mistaken, then just let me know in one or another way.
Okay, well, that question, Paul.
Yeah, Adrian just confirmed that it's some kind of leasing. Patrick, I see that you have submitted a comma, and I can not comment it in any way. Jack is asking, do you have any walkthroughs or demos of the process for setting up StarWind VSAN or VMware? Well, we have the first of all, we have a documentation on this, and also we have the thing that we call installation assistance. So if you're considering getting the StarWind, our engineers will be really glad to configure everything for you on your system. They should do the job, isn't it? But hey, I think that's a good idea. Maybe we should record some kind of video and upload it to our website. I will think about it, and I'll see what can we do here. Thanks for the question, though. Okay, that was actually the last question, as far as I can see. I mean, if you have anything else to ask, I'm here. My friends, I'm here. No? Okay. Oh yeah, that is actually the live webinar that I would like to tell you about. It's going to be on 8th of April at 10 a.m. PT or 1 p.m. Eastern time. The speaker is going to be John Togo. He's a really cool guy. He's a big professional, and he knows what he's doing and what he is talking about. So he's like a really bright. He's like a really bright-minded, And that webinar is going to be like a rock star of the April webinars, I guess, in the storage world. So I recommend you to join it if you're in one or another way are interested in the hyperconverged architectures of the systems. That link. Actually, I can actually drop it to you, I guess, if you want. Should I? Just tell me in the GoToMeeting chat box, should I or not. Okay, and looks like we're done. So I'd like to thank you everybody for joining this tap room. I really hope that everything was great, but if it wasn't, feel free to share with me your feedback. I would highly appreciate it. I mean, I know that I'm not perfect, and I know that there is always something that could be better, so I'm totally open for your suggestions. Just let me know if you want to see anything on the further webinars, on further tap rooms. So okay, looks like we're done, and thank you everybody, and have a great rest of the week, and have the best weekend that you could actually get on those weekends. Take care, bye bye, до свидания. Buenos noches, señoras y señoritas.